Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the first webinar in the Fall 2019 Communications and Marketing webinar series here on Monday, September 30th. A big hello to our Jewish community celebrating its New Year. So Happy New Year to those of you who are here with us this evening. I'm really quite excited about being here tonight. We are recording this evening's presentation, and you'll learn more about why in a moment. But this is a continuation of a great deal of work that this district has been doing in the area of marketing communications, and we're now drilling deeper into the specifics of some best practices that we believe will be very effective for the district and the clubs throughout the district as they continue their work. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Robert Friend. I'm the chair of the District Marketing and Communications Committee, who you will meet in a moment. I'd like to formally begin this particular webinar. I'm gonna request control from Jonathan. Oops, Jonathan, there we go. Have I got control? There we go. I just want to start off with a quick kind of cursory overview of what it is the District Communications Committee is doing. This is a mandate that began back in Trish Pearson's year as district governor, which was 2 district years ago. It was to culminate on this 3rd year, which is Jack Solomon's year as district governor, and we had a great growth of activity during Larry Gardner's year as district governor. So this is a 3-year plan, but the framework of the Communications Committee is really to be a service center to our clubs and to the community in Southern Connecticut to really deliver and support everything that we do. Because one of the things that we know is that we are not everywhere, but we're a best kept secret, if you will. And if we can change this and slowly but surely chip away at that misalignment to who we are, we will grow the value of our engagement, both internally within the Rotary community, but also externally within the communities that we serve. And that will have a direct impact on membership acquisition and retention, foundation giving, and global philanthropy. So with that said, that's something I just wanted to reinforce. We have a great committee led by the people that are on this list, some of who you're going to meet tonight. In fact, you're going to meet a core group of those tonight, led by these 4 individuals, most specifically Jonathan Zaromsky, who's with the Middletown Rotary Club. He's with Caldwell Banker Realty. I'm going to go back. He's with Caldwell Banker Realty. We'll just let it go. And he's been heavily involved engaged in digital media to support his business. And when we met him at the very first, one of the first webinars we did last fall, the connection was so strong in our ability to really begin a dialogue around digital media. We brought him in, and it's been fantastic. So I'm thrilled that Jonathan's going to be leading it. Along with him will be Andy Marlott, Kyle Clark, and Robert DeJoya, who are all in their own rights involved in this area in different ways, which you'll learn about as we move forward. But for most importantly, this is going to be a conversation about best practices around technology and social media. So that's what tonight's about. And so we can move to the next slide, Jonathan. I want to talk about things you should note about tonight. And that's number 1, this webinar is being recorded because we are going to post it on the district website because not everyone's coming tonight. And it's important that everyone have a chance to go back and take a look at this, not only those that were not able to attend, but also for those of you who did attend. I think there's going to be things on this webinar that we're recording that will have a great impact on on your ability to go back and re-engage with it in the future. So we're going to do this with all the webinars in this webinar series. The second item is if you need to ask questions, at the bottom of this screen, there is a chat button, which you can, or at the top actually, or somewhere on your screen, there's a place where you can hit, go ahead and grab some chat, open up a chat screen and ask questions. So I urge you to do that. And by the way, if you are on this call and as you can hear someone's phone ringing, if you could mute yourself, you can do that in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. That would be terrific. But in any case, ask questions. We'll be tracking those questions throughout the session, and we'll answer them at the end or bring them up with you and move from that vantage point. Next item. Listen, I know there are people out there that don't know a lot about technology or feel that this may be over their head a little bit. I will tell you to do two things: be patient and trust the process. We have a tremendous amount of data to give to you tonight, but it's going to be very focused. And I just will let you know that this is the beginning of the process. And so just trust it, because I will tell you that it works. Next item is, this is a numbers game. We are all about trying to reach and grow our reach into the Southern Connecticut community. The more people we touch with our messaging, with our story, with what we're about, the more people will understand what we do, and the more people will engage with us. So that's something that I just want to underscore. You're going to hear more about this in a moment. The next item is, success begins with a few things. The first one is, and I cannot underscore this enough, commitment to this, the success of this relies on the commitment for the presidents and the president-elects of your clubs to engage and own this from the top, and to let the club know that this is something that is important, that you will drive forward and embrace. If it doesn't happen from that vantage point, you will not see this move forward for your club. That's number one. So owning that is important. The second thing is, developing a communications plan is another key to success. And we have a webinar coming up, our third webinar, which is Monday, November 11th, which is all about developing the communications plan. But there's a reason why it's the third webinar. We want to get into some nuts and bolts first, so that when we get to the communication planning discussion, you understand all the pieces of the puzzle. So that's why it's coming. And then the last one is, you need to have a team. Each club needs to have a communications team that's in action. And if you don't have that, this isn't going to get done. So you need to have the commitment that drives the creation of this communication platform in your club, that drives into a communications plan. And when you have those three things operating, you're going to be in a good place, and you'll be moving forward with some momentum. Here's a big thing, though. You can get very overwhelmed with this process, and I must again underscore that if you find yourself becoming a deer in the headlights for this conversation, please don't worry, first of all, and step back and engage in the process in bite-sized pieces, and ask for help. Because this is not rocket science, but for those of you who are new, as I said in the technology novice line, this is something that takes some time to engage and embrace. But I will tell you, once again, move to the next point, have fun and watch this work, because it does work. So with that said, let's move to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about leveraging the Rotary Journey, because that's what this is about tonight. This is totally about understanding what the Rotary Journey is to your club and what it means to you. We can move to the next slide, Jonathan. The first item around the Rotary Journey is the connection. The connection is all about your connection internally to your Rotarians. It's all about maintaining your engagement with Rotarians, because different Rotarians are in at different levels, right? Some are totally engaged and some are just starting out. So there's that internal relationship we have, and then there's this external community that we have. And that relationship piece is extremely important, because how you build the relationship internally and how you build your relationship in the community is all about, how we go about building those stories and how you connect to what we're doing. And that leads us to the next item, which is engagement. Whether it's community service or projects or fundraising or everything we do about Rotary is engagement. And that engagement is all about how we bring people into deepening their relationship with us. So that's real important. And then when we develop into the multiple side of engagement, when people start engaging us on multiple levels, that's when the moment of commit can become really real. And you will see that we've done a lot of Rotary moments that is going to be coming out to the story of our district. Those Rotary moments are there because of the fact that there are members of our community that found that commitment to Rotary, and they totally get it. And that transformation to the complete Rotary commitment is what we're after. Whether it's someone in the community that really sees what we're doing and that we're making a difference, or if it's somebody that is literally just starting out as a Rotarian and finding their pathway to that Rotary commitment. And those of us that are there, we know it. We know we're there. So this is something I wanted to reinforce because we talked about this during our our spring seminar series that we had last Rotary year. So moving to the next slide, I will tell you that I want to introduce you to, actually we can go back, Jonathan, I jumped too fast. I want to introduce you to Jonathan because Jonathan's going to take over from here. Now, Jonathan, as I said, uses this technology we're going to be talking about on a daily basis. We're excited about the idea that we can have this dialogue. And before I go any further, Trish, I failed to give you the floor, my apologies. But before we jump into Jonathan, I want to give you a chance to take a moment and just say a few words from your vantage point because you were the catalyst of this whole dialogue. And I want you to kind of, from your framework, talk about the importance of this.
So as you said, thank you, Robert, this whole journey, this has been a journey just to get us this far. To be able to put together a program like this, we did it with an eye toward how can we make Rotary bigger? How can we make Rotary better? How can we get rid of the saying that Rotary is the best kept secret in our communities? So that's what we want to cut through. And I think this is a solid start. Recognizing throughout all of what Jonathan is going to talk about, remember, we have multiple audiences in Rotary. And depending upon what our goal is, will drive how we manage that audience. But the thing to remember is you can manage it. And finally, I would just say, while this is not rocket science, it is a science. And Jonathan is going to show us how to unlock the mysteries of that science. And thank you guys all for all you have done and for everyone who decided to join this call. And then you can just push it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. Appreciate it. So Jonathan, I'm handing it off to you. I know some of us will be diving back in off and on, but you're taking it on from here. So go for it.
All right. First off, I want to remind everybody this is being recorded. So don't, if I'm moving a little too fast or slow, you'll be able to rewind and take control later on when we distribute it. Also, I wanted to go into my why. Like, why is it that I chose to do this? I've only been a Rotarian for about a year. And what Trish was saying is 100% my experience. I joined Rotary not really knowing what it was. Only come to find out that it's the reason that polio is on its knees and almost on its way out. And the fact that I didn't know that prior to joining, I thought was a massive marketing deficit on the club's parts. And they should be screaming it from the rooftops. The amount of equity that you can get from an accomplishment like that within the communities is tremendous, especially when you're speaking about the older generations and who actually remember polio and how devastating that was. I never experienced it, but we should be leveraging that. So that goes into branding, right? What is branding? Essentially, you're buying mind share. Each person only has a space in their brain for 3 brands for each brand category. So if we're talking about soda, it would be like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta. I think that might even be owned by Coke, right? But how much real estate does your club own in the supporter's mind when it comes to donating, volunteering, community and community outreach? When they think of these things, do they think Rotary first, or do they think United Way, missions, or chamber? We're competing, and if you can educate your followers that Rotary and your club is the best way and most leveraged way to serve your community, well, they're going to go with you when it comes to making that decision, when it comes to actually taking action to make that donation, to volunteer that time, right? And that's the entire purpose of branding. If you're able to buy that #1 position in their spot for philanthropy, you know, you've won. So where do we start? How do you, it's like, okay, that's great, that's pretty, right? But, okay, what do we do with that? Well, action step #1 is you want to get used to, in everything that you're doing, you want to collect information on the people that are interacting with you in terms of email addresses, phone numbers, names, and really anything else about them that you can collect and put in as a note. I remember when I was in hotels, we would do things to really level up service. I'd have someone coming in the restaurant, and right on my open table screen, it would say, hey, Mrs. Solomon, thank you for coming into the restaurant. I remember that your wife is allergic to peas, and I've got your favorite table set up over in the corner with your nice bottle of champagne. That all comes from my database. No matter what business you have or what venture you're trying to do, whether you're a doctor or you're a lawyer, at the end of your career, what do you have to sell? You have your database of relationships to sell, and if you don't have that, you have nothing. And you just retire with your brick and mortar location, that's all you have. So if it's that valuable to the private sector, it's equally as valuable in this sector, in the philanthropy, the not-for-profit sector, profit, not-profit. Sorry, I said that wrong. So you want to get in the habit of collecting this information so that you can later leverage it. The next step is then uploading it to a centralized database management system, which in the industry we call a CRM, a customer relation management system, right? Which is DACDB. DACDB and Club Runner are CRMs. They can run email, text message. You can build template, like those beautiful emails, marketing emails that you get that are wrapped with imagery and everything. DACDB has that capability. You can house video there as well. So you want to collect and then engage with that database. And you want to send as tailored content as you possibly can. What you're sending to your membership and what you're sending to your prospective members and prospective donors are going to be two completely different pieces of content, and then with that, you want them all linking together. So when I send an email out, I want the video that I embedded to link to my website. So now you're in my website. So that after you're done watching that video, you can find out what else going on in Rotary. Oh, there's some charity event that I might want to donate and learn more about, or I can read about the blog or what's going on with the district. And it's all information there. And then at the website, that links to social media, and it all kind of flows together. How do you deliver engagements and results? All right, so in my industry, we use temperature to measure the level of a prospect is to your end result, right? So starting with cold, this would be the audience that you want to grow, your cold audience, people you've never met before that haven't entered into your content ecosystem, which I was just describing as, that link of content from email to website to social to your video blog, right? Those are all new people and new relationships, friends, acquaintances, people who just don't know who or what we are yet. Then you want to get to your warm audience. Once you get your cold people in, you're bringing them into your incubation system. This is the incubation stage, to then warm them up with utilizing the items I just described. Touch campaigns, notifications, email, social, website, newsletters. And then you want to once you get them in, you want to stay actively in front of them for as long as it takes for them to then convert. So that seems really intimidating because you're going to be having to constantly push out content, but we're constantly creating content. If you, all your clubs do is get in the habit of whipping out your cell phone when you're at that turkey drive or at that duck race and doing a quick selfie video about what you're doing and what's going on, 2 minutes at most, and then post that to social media, embed that into an email, send it out to drive to your donations page. You know, you're keeping them in and keeping them engaged. And then when it comes time where, hey, you know, I just closed on this massive house and I got my commission check, we want to donate, right? Because we've made this extra money, and now I'm in that buying window. I'm in that window to take action, right? Rotary is now top of mind because I've been spinning in that incubator, which would be described as your hot position.
And I will say, Jonathan, that from my vantage point and what we learned during the course of the early part of our journey with the district in the spring series that we held last year, is one of the biggest misses that our district has is really this: our ability to setting up a plan where we're staying in touch, where we have people slipping through our contacts slipping through our fingers. And so this is a real key area that we hope through this dialogue will change, because we'll start thinking about how we do this strategically. Jonathan?
I wish in my own business, I wish I had as much community engagement as the clubs do, because I would leverage it like crazy. And you are reaching people, you're touching real human lives and benefiting them, and you need to tell that story and leverage it because people care about it, and philanthropy is trending right now. You know, I mean, you got to leverage that equity that you're building with your community. So you want to stay active in front of anyone within your club, looping it back to that Rotary journey, you know?
Yeah, this to me is the, you know, John, we were sitting rehearsing for this webinar, and Jonathan threw out this sentence at the bottom, and we loved it because it's really all about, this is really key now for everyone tonight, because we are automating and augmenting real relationships, because what we're doing tonight will really deliver the engagement results. And it's all about staying close to those people that we're close to now, but in a way that we've never thought about being close to them before.
And in addition to that, everybody's always freaked out about the time saver, how long it takes to do these things. And I would argue to say, you don't have a sales team behind you to drive your initiatives. So you need to create an inbound marketing system to bring people from the marketplace into your systems. This is how you do it. You have to blast out your message with the biggest microphone that you can. And I'll be showing you in just a moment about how granular, how small you can target these people. It's really unbelievable. And by being able to target that small, it really lowers your costs, and then leveraging the technology, you're able to really duplicate yourself.
And understand that this is not just about growing membership. You use this system, and it is a system. You use this system to increase the attendance at your fundraising events, to create awareness of other service opportunities, to gain additional donors from within your own club, and of course to attract more members. So you can use this system to do all of those things. And I would say we will be using this on a district-wide basis to build participation in district-wide activities.
You have to stay top of mind, you know. In my own business, like, I lost a sale to my own sister because she forgot I was a realtor. You know, you have to stay top of mind. You have to own that mind share. If you're not constantly driving that message home and staying in front, and my sister actually likes me, you know, my sister likes me. She loves me. She wasn't trying to, I thought you were in hotels, you know, like, so, all right. So now this is really what drives it home, that this content ecosystem of everything feeds one another. You know, you have this contact list that you're now going to be actively engaging through your newsletters, right? And in those newsletters, you're going to have links to your social media channel where there's videos of the duck race with that quick selfie video, and then the superintendent of schools speaking at the club about their strategic plan in Middletown, or they're going to have that content there, which will then link back to their website, which is where there's going to be call to actions in place so that they can become a member, to request more information. Then you can then scoop up their phone number, make a direct phone call, invite them into your club for lunch, right? Then your video blog. I can't stress enough the importance of video, which we'll be rolling into right now. So
Andy and Rob, I don't know if Rob DeJoy, or I don't know if you're on, but I'd love a perspective on content as it relates to email marketing. Andy, do you want to just tag a moment onto this and just kind of give us a framework? Andy's from the Rotary Club of Brantford.
Yeah, what we're the next webinar we're going to have actually is more about content, so we'll get into that more at that time. But I mean, because that comes down to, it's great to have all these different avenues and ways to send things out, but what do you send out? So we're really going to talk more about that. I don't know what you want me to say.
No, that's great. I mean, listen, it's all about storytelling, right, Andy? I mean, this is about how you loop it together and tell the story. And our Rotary story is like really, really intricate and special. Intricate in the way that we've got a lot of different angles we can play through the avenues of service that we have. And it's really how we go about using that to distribute that out to the community, right?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And like Jonathan was saying, all these different ways we can do it, particularly with video, which I know he's going to get into, and Kyle can talk about too. I mean, that's probably the most effective thing nowadays that we can do, and we'll show you ways to get that out there.
So great transition to Kyle. Kyle is our video guru here with us in the district communications team. And Kyle, what's your take on the video logging of work within our community? How important is that from your vantage point?
From my vantage point, the thing about video is that if you're legitimate in any way or want to look legitimate in the community, then you have video content. It's like a picture says 1,000 words, right? So if you're putting videos out there that show why your club is fun, why your club is, important, and, all the things that the club is doing, it helps people see that there's actually, activity going on in your club that may be worth it to them to engage with. So essentially what I'm saying is that video is just really important to have because it's essentially expected at this point, because that's the day and age that we live in. It could be something as small as just, a little selfie video, or it could be something that's more produced and well put together. It kind of depends on what you want to do with it. So, that's something I could talk about in the next webinar more specifically, but video is expected. If you're legit, you have video. It's just something that you need to do because it allows people to see and hear why your club is important and worth joining.
And then Andy, let's go back to, I think I've got this backwards. We're going up to social media. So go ahead, Jonathan.
Yep. So just touching on video, right? I'm a data-driven person. I'm extremely analytical. And I know from my own email marketing campaigns that putting the word video in the subject line of my emails, it increases my open rate from anywhere to 20 to 30%. People want to watch video. They don't want to read text. If you have an overwritten text piece, I know personally I'll read 1 or 2 sentences and click and move on with my life. And all of the social media and vlogging, I mean, is massive. People aren't really blogging much anymore. That's kind of slipping to the side. Most people are just picking up their phone and starting to talk, and that's really big now. I mean, I think even my sister's doing it with her makeup channel. So social media, right? Now I'm gonna use a word that's intimidating. Their algorithm, which essentially is just layering of decisions, so if this person likes these types of things very often, then Facebook is going to say, well, they must like that. We should give them that content more, right? So what's happening is all the social media platforms, as a result of the engagements that's happening on them, are dictating that video is the most powerful platform there. So, and I'll be diving into more about the leveraging of social later, but website.
And Andy, speaking of video, when you focus that and link that into and embed that in websites, then the power of it shifts even more, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have, like on the Brantford website, we have two videos, I think, on the homepage, and there's a whole nother section in our website that you can go see videos, either stuff that we've done, stuff that Rotary International done. They have videos that every club should tap into. You can go to the Rotary.org brand center, it's called, on there. You can look on there. They've got wonderful videos that you can all use to sell your stuff and put them on the website, because I put that on there, and when we send prospective members to that, it teaches them more than I can do in an hour, because they're so impressed by what Rotary does, and that's how they learn.
Yeah, and I will add to this that there is no reason why every club in our district should not have a very powerful website. Because of the platform that DACDB has given us, there's access to moving out of archaic web environments, and you clubs know where you are with that. But those of you who are sitting in old technology need to step forward, contact Ron Webb, who is running this program with DACDB to help transition our district clubs to a website environment that can be powerfully engaging through DACDB's easy and beautiful website scenario. So we'll get into that later, but let's move on, Jonathan, because we've got more to do.
Yep. So there's one thing that I wanted to say about this. If you're going to be taking anyone outside of this ecosystem of content, right, you should be getting paid for it. Because you used to go to the grocery store to buy milk, you used to go there to buy whatever, now gas. Now you're going to Facebook and you're buying traffic, right? And if you have an audience member that's in your system, on your website, doing anything, and it's going to link outside of that, you should get paid for that. And that's kind of the way you need to be thinking about this. You want to get them in, and you want to keep them there, and you want them continuously spinning until they're ready to convert. All right, so social media retargeting, what is it? So the best example I can come up with this is, everybody I'm sure has experienced where you're shopping on Amazon and you're looking at a pair of shoes, and then you go back to Facebook and then there's that same pair of shoes. Or then you go to CNN.com and then there's an Amazon advertisement, or whatever it is that you're looking at watches, and it just seems to follow you around. That's retargeting. And using and leveraging Facebook, we can do that too, and use it for the advantages of our club. So there's three different types of retargeting that take place. There's database retargeting, which when I started talking about the importance of your database. Well, you can take that database, upload it into social media, and then target those email addresses that have profiles on the social media platforms with your messaging. Website retargeting. You can then take what's called a Facebook pixel, and you can put it on the back end of your website where no one can see it. But what it does is when somebody lands on your website, it downloads a little cookie into their web browser. And then when they go back to Facebook, it recognizes that cookie to being part of your audience and then pushes that content to them. Then there's social media retargeting. And what social media retargeting is based off of how people are engaging with you. So if somebody's watched 50% of your video, you can then target an audience of people that have watched 50% of your videos or your posts, or been to your business page, or liked your page and their friends. And that would be social media retargeting. All right, now growing that ecosystem of content, growing that wheel, right? Whenever you're engaging with the public, it's your opportunity to collect and grow that database, whether you're using networking one-to-one is where I meant by that. When you're out and you're in the field and you're meeting new people that don't know much about Rotary, if you're giving a scholarship away to a child and the mother's there. Take that opportunity to engage with them. See if they want to sign up for your newsletter. Try to get them into the club. Every time there's you're out there, that needs to be the center of what you're doing. Website call to action, I talked about that briefly. Social media, there's a way for you to do direct lead capture where you're actually collecting email addresses. Google AdWorks is where you're buying words in the search engine. So when someone searches Rotary, you can own Rotary in Connecticut if they search Rotary. And then you'll come up to the top of the Google search. So that's growing the incubator. The whole picture, right? So you're taking all of these lead sources, putting them in the top of your funnel where your prospects live. You're getting them into your incubator, pushing them through the Rotary journey to your close, being your member, donor, community partner. Through this process, you're buying mindshare, which will hopefully get you referrals as well, so that your sister doesn't go and buy a house from another realtor. and then growing your audience that way. All right.
So how does this work step by step? We want to take you through some, we want to take you through some really detailed storyboards of ways you can make this work for each of your clubs. And some of this you may have seen before and you may touch, but I think that this story will give you kind of a framework to begin making something happen. And I think for some of you, this is going to be jaw-dropping, because artificial intelligence is an amazing thing and it's really driving technology today. And that's what Jonathan's kind of alluding to. So let's move on to the next slide, Jonathan. And so we're going to focus on retargeting in Facebook because that's key. But we want to take a second and talk about some quick things. First of all, I cannot underscore enough how important it is to collect email addresses at every event and every program you have, because that is the information that you've now heard of that's going to help us do the kind of things we're going to be about to show you. So that is absolutely important. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I said it's the fuel that drives the machine.
Yeah, absolutely. And uploading that database into DACDB on your customer relationship management CRM platform is important. DACDB is District 7980's CRM. But I don't think we all know that. I think we're using it for our own internal use, but we need to show that. So I'm going to go ahead, Jonathan, I think you're going to knock out of here for a second. And right. I'm going to take, yeah, there you go. And I'm going to take control. And I'm going to go into DACDB. For those of you who don't know DACDB or have never seen DACDB, this is what it looks like. So I'm actually in the district tab, and there's a module that we have called CRM. And CRM allows us to add members into that, anybody. This is where we put our constituents. But you can add a member into the CRM. So I'm adding someone blank and new. I can type in all of their information and I can mark them as active, which is what we do when we get a new Rotarian in. When someone leaves us, we terminate them. So those are options in this drop-down member type. But there's another member type out here called potential member. And I don't know whether you all knew that. And if I mark this as a potential member when I'm in your club, because I can go in as a club member and do the same CRM scenario and fill this in. When I do that, then I'm setting up a scenario whereby I can go ahead and put them in that manner and mark off and keep track of all my potential members. And now I've got a database that I'm building of people I touch. Now in my club in Madison, we do a Student of the Year program that brings in parents and grandparents and teachers and school system administrators once a year, and we get a whole cadre of people, and many times over the past years they've just come and gone. Now we're starting to collect those names and retarget them and reconnect to them in a powerful way. And you think of those people that we touch along the way, if we don't get them in the system, we're not going to be able to retarget them in a specific way. So this is a very important thing. Now, the other thing that's important regarding this is the ability to be able to pull that information out. So I can go into PMail, which is the mailing program here within the system, and I could go ahead and target just those prospective members in my club. And I could go into hit 2 and find those people, those members that I want to get to in whatever scenario I've got. Or even better, I can drop a report and send that report out to, and let's go back to district again. I go to report and send a list of people by selecting either a mailing list, a straight mailing list that I dump out to Excel, or a member list in a mailing label list in like a particular mailing label format, like 5260 or 61, which is a pretty standard label scenario. And literally, I can get rid of all of my connects that bring me my members, and literally just type on potential member and hit view, or go to Excel and click on Excel, and it brings my list out. And these are all my prospective members that I can now do a direct mail list to, or drop it into a general list that I can, as Jonathan will show you later, we can upload into social media. And so the power of this is absolutely enormous. Now, I don't know how many of you have worked in DACDB, but if you're not in DACDB and playing in these different areas, that is something that you ought to begin thinking about how you can dive into that. And we are more than happy to set up club by club or area-wide sessions on better usage of DACDB to manage your opportunities. So you can go back to the slide deck now, Jonathan.
Did you see the questions at the bottom?
Oh, good. Trish, it's Leslie Wolf. I was just going to ask, because a few of us have lots and lots of info gathered, and we would like to be able to load that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have
not one by one.
So there are 2 questions. We'll go ahead and hit these now real quick. I have a very active email database in Eventbrite. Can they be uploaded to DACDB? If Eventbrite will allow you to download it, the answer is yes.
How?
Well, I'm not going to show you now, but
okay.
We will set up a mechanism for us to show you how you can upload data into DACDB, and Ron Webb and I will work out a scenario to show you how to do that.
Thank you.
With all of these platforms, with Facebook, with DACDB, there's a lot of documentation, videos, and step-by-step guides built into the systems. There's also help desks that you can call that they'll be able to show you that step-by-step.
On DACDB.
Yes, and Leslie, you bring in 200 volunteers and 1,200 plus guests at your Lobster Fest. I got to tell you, absolutely. And if it's all in Eventbrite, the key for me is, and I'm in the ticketing business, so I know Eventbrite very well. The question is whether you can get that data from Eventbrite. If they give it to you,
we already have it.
That's great. If you have it, you want to get it in CSV format.
Right.
Okay, yeah. If you have it in CSV format, we can help you find a way to get that into DACDB in this mode, and Ron Webb and I will work with you to and we're going to save these questions, by the way.
Okay,
so
thank you. You can move on. Thank you.
We'll get back to you. Absolutely. Jonathan, keep going. You can bring the slide deck back up.
All right. I'm just going to turn my phone on.
Great questions, by the way.
Oh, that's not the right one. There we go. Share.
There we go. So Jonathan, moving on to the next item.
Yep. Just gotta.
So basically here, it's about consolidating, centralizing, and segmenting your database. And you got to use DACDB. So I think we've already said that. We can move to the next slide.
Important sentence though is garbage in, garbage out. You know, if you don't remember who these people are, you're not segmenting them, you're not putting notes in, you know, like that example I said about someone coming into my restaurant, you know, and I know their allergies, I know what table they like. I'm immediately building rapport. They immediately think that I'm extremely professional and I remember them by their first name and last name. When they came in through the front desk at the hotel, we took a picture of them in our security system. We tagged that with their name, put it into our reservation system, and now I'm creating a personalized experience And I really had nothing to do with it. But in their brain, they're like, oh my God, this place is amazing. And then you can create those same experiences for Rotarians, you know?
We'll go back up to the top one first. So start recording all of your Rotary Club meetings and events and store in a centralized location. So here's the deal. We're promoting video. We feel that that's something that we need to, as a district, really need to begin documenting our club's activities. And I know a lot of you are doing this, but I got to tell you, there's assets, there's video assets all over the place. We don't have some of you have a control over them. Some clubs may, but a lot of clubs don't. So we're in the process of coming up with a way in which to create a District 7980 YouTube channel where all of the video content can be uploaded and organized. So keep your eye out for that. We're in the process of dialoguing on that. And our hope is that in the next month or so, we'll have that set up so that there's a place for you to go and there'll be a how to do that so everyone can start uploading the video and share content, which would be really tremendous. That's number one. Second thing, go ahead, Jonathan.
The more you can push that content out with the Rotary emblem next to it, the more it's just going to benefit everybody.
Now, everyone does a weekly email, news program for their clubs, most everyone, but being able to send that out in a digital way is real important. And so I wanted to take a moment to make sure that you all knew that there's an email capability within DACDB, a newsletter capability. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again and bring us back out to DACDB. Just to touch this, there's something called District Easy Bulletins and District Easy Story. So just to kind of give you a framework, you know the district bulletin that the district governor, Jack, puts out. Well, it's all created right on here. And if I go ahead and go into the district DG bulletin, this is where it gets published. And so all of this gets created in here. And one of the things that we're working on is we've been transitioning photography into this in a big way. You'll find in the October version of this, it's coming out in a day or so, we're going to do more and more video. And as we move through the year, the video is going to become more prevalent here. And that's really powerful because as Jonathan and Andy and Kyle talked about, this is really a key part of how we're going to drive that. But to kind of bring this back, the idea that you can use DACDB to create a bulletin, and if I go back out here to edit templates, I mean, to look at the template, I'll just go ahead and go to edit this template. And this is the template. This is what it is out, and we can change this so easily and add stories on this. And the stories are all added by creating the story, District Easy Stories that you just build and publish. And then you move the published story to the actual newsletter and it's done. It's a very easy process. So I'm just letting you all know about this. We're not going to go into a template now to train you how to do this. But the point is that we've been using this over the course of the last several years. And these are all stories that are sitting in our database that we could use over and over again or augment. But there's a lot of capacity to these kinds of things. And you can play around in a lot of other modules that are in here. And again, I think Ron Webb, we're going to probably call on you to set up a separate session at some point to really get deep into the DACDB story over the course of the next several months. So look out for that. But I wanted to kind of give you a framework of that. So Jonathan, back to you in the deck. And now we're getting into some fun stuff. So Jonathan.
So yeah, have all members like your Facebook business page. If you don't have one, get one. And so how do we do that? Set up your Facebook business page. So I'm going to go to, is everybody seeing my web browser?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go to Facebook. Right up at the top. So this is my personal Facebook page. I'm just logged into my normal, news feed. Up at the top, if you can see my cursor, right? My name, home, create. You want to click on create page. we're a community or public figure. So business or brand, community, public figure, this is where we're gonna go here. Then you name your page and you select your category. The category you wanna do is community service, right here. And then you would click on that one. So that's the category you're in. Now we've already created it, so I'm not gonna go through all the steps, but
Jonathan, that's all it is? That's how you set it up?
that's it. So then when I name it Rotary 7980, then I hit continue. It's going to ask me for a thumbnail photo, which is the small photo on the left. So I'll show you our business page. So this is the thumbnail photo. So you have a photo ready for this, and then your cover photo, which is the large one, and the banner photo in the middle. They're going to ask you for that. So where you can find that is, so I'm going to go to the district website. Up here at the top, you see the login for DACDB, then Rotary International. You're going to click on Rotary International, click on For Members, go to Member Center. Member Center, you're going to go to Brand Center. Log in. And then logos. You can create, there's templates, you can create your own logo. That 7980 was foundation templated logo, program logos, theme logos. You can create logos. So it could say, rather than, we made this where it says District 7980, you could say Rotary Middletown. It could say, however you want to do the imagery or graphics on it. This is a good templated system to build that for you. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the deck.
And I would just add to this, Rotary Brand Central, for those of you who are learning about it for the first time, or for those of you who knew about it, either way, spend some time in there. I think you'll be blown away with the number of digital assets, the video assets. There's a tremendous amount of digital video and graphics about what Rotary does internationally around the world that is very relevant to your websites and relevant to the stories you want to tell your community. And we should take advantage of this. That's why it's there.
Yep. Start inviting people to like your page. So once you get it set up, right, you want to, so see over here, I can start inviting my database. So I could take my Rotary list and I could start typing in the names and invite all my Rotarians. There's also a Rotary District Club. So if you have a group set up, you can claim ownership of that group, which will be coming up shortly. So once I go to groups, link your group. So if you have a group, you can link it to your business page. So now so once we get that linked, I'll be posting in to advertise for them to like the business page because there's 500 people there. So yeah, so that's that. Start inviting people. Find ways to boost your audience with additional posts and images. Then when Facebook has sufficient history, upload your constituent list and add a name list. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly how to. Oh.
Jonathan, may I ask a question? Leslie Wolf, Westport Rotary Club.
Yep.
Is that a Rotary 7980 page for you or for your whole club?
That's the District 7980 page is actually for the district.
Okay, so then everyone in your club likes the page to become connected to it?
Yep.
You're gonna, Jonathan, jump on this. I'm just jumping in here, but you're gonna set up your own Rotary Club of Westport business page. Our goal, Jonathan, is, I would assume, is to link it to to the district page, right?
Okay.
Yes, long term, yes.
All right, our webmaster just told me we have one, so.
So
I'll do this.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, but you need.
Don't get confused. A Facebook page is not the same as a Facebook business page.
No, Facebook business page is not the same as a Facebook group.
Right.
Groups are private. They're like your living room, where your Facebook business page is like your town square.
Okay.
And I would also say, I got to this, I found it, Jonathan. I had to search Rotary 7980, no district, and it brought me right to it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So boosting posts. I'm going to go to my business page real quick because Facebook doesn't give you all of the tools up front. You have to be marketing with them for a little while. So I just kind of want to show you the potential. Because there's barriers of entry, unfortunately. So I just post all the time, you know, on my business page. So rather than having to go into the ads manager and build a post in the beginning, this is going to be the best way for you to do it. So once you post something, it's going to give you the option right over here to boost that post.
What is boosting in general, Jonathan? What does it mean in general?
You're putting money behind it to increase the exposure. And then by putting money behind it, Facebook gives you all kinds of targeting options. So like, as you can see here, I can target all the people that like my business page, who like my business page and their friends, people that are in my local area, my custom audiences. Custom audiences I'll be able to get into in a moment. But one of those custom audiences is like our district member list. Then you can create lookalike audiences to that member list, or website traffic. Anybody who's visited my website, remember I was talking about the Facebook pixel code? I can target the people who have been to my website. I can even say, I want to target all the people that have not just gone to my website, but visited this specific page and clicked on this particular button. That button being, you know, submit information, purchase ticket, request information, or whatever. I can get that granular with my targeting. Now, setting these audiences up goes on in your ads manager, which I should be going into on the next one, I believe. Create an ad campaign. So if it upload your contact list, so yes. So once you're in your ads manager, which I'll show you how to navigate to that from, sorry, I don't mean to be clicking around so much, but once you're in Facebook, all of your menu screen, everything, all the magic happens with this little upside down triangle on the top right corner. So your page, all your pages, your assets, manage page, manage groups. So this is how you're going to get your ads manager. So it would be manage ads, and then that'll click directly through to your ads account.
Or do you want to go to there you go. Okay, good.
Yep, I'm going to this. So this is the district's Facebook business page, right? Ads manager. Right? So if you wanted to start creating an ad in here.
Now let's stop here. Let's stop here for a second, Jonathan. Let's set the stage here. So Colin's on the phone with us in this, and we're about to launch a major fundraising event for Polio Plus by being involved in a sponsorship event with the Arlo Guthrie show that's happening at Alice's Restaurant at the Milford Performance Center. And so for those of you who know that that's going on, tickets are available. But we've created an ad campaign and we launched it last week. So Jonathan, that's what you're going to show, right?
Yeah, well, first I'm going to show you the basics, like run through of a campaign and how to build one. All the steps are highlighted over here on the left-hand side where you are. So at any stage, even now I could skip to the end and you can look at the creative, or I could go budgeting, audiences, or however. But you just follow the on-screen prompts. So the first thing that we're going to be deciding is, what are we trying to accomplish? In this particular instance, we were driving traffic using a piece of creative, being the video creative, which I'll be showing you, to the purchase page for these tickets, right? Targeting our membership. So clicking on traffic, because that's what we're doing, we have to name the campaign. See, it's popping up here, but I'm just going to say test. Split testing is so you can create two separate pieces of creative and see what's performing the best on the platform to maximize your budget. So one could be video and one could be photo, and we want to test to see which is going to respond the best running it to this same audience to maximize our budget and to increase our return. So if you wanted to do that, you would click on these, but for the purpose of this, I'm gonna skip over it. I just wanted to define that. So where are you sending this traffic? We're sending it to a website. We're sending it to our member list, which I'll show you where the upload is for those custom audiences. And then I created lookalike audiences from the membership list. And what a lookalike audience is digitally you have a thumbprint, right, of all the websites that you go to, all of the content that you consume. And there's Facebook pixel codes on all of them. There's, when you come back to Facebook, the cookie transmits that information to Facebook. And then Facebook takes that data and creates a profile. So what I'm saying with this is we want to target our membership, all the people that look like them, to a variance of 1%, 1 to 3%, and 3 to 5% that looks like that data. And we're targeting that list. And we're going to do automatic placement. You can choose where you want Facebook to place these ads. So if it's in the newsfeed, Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, the videos feed. So, you know, when you get those annoying ads that interrupt videos, but we can hijack your cat video. Facebook right column, and there's all these different options. But you don't want to be making these decisions, so you leave it on automatic placement, and Facebook is going to decide for you where you're going to get the best results based off of the people that are engaging with that post. This is a multi-billion-dollar system that we get to use for pennies on the dollar. So just let it do the work for you. Then you can set a goal objective. You know, when do you want to pay for landing page views? When the link clicks. So we want to pay when people land on the page. Daily unique reach, impressions. Really, for driving traffic, this will give you the best results. Cost control, so you can do an average cost per landing page view. You don't want to get into interrupting the auction system. Just let the machine take care of it. Now, what I always aim for is about $1 a day per 1,000 people. So we've got an audience size of about 2,500 people with our district. So I'm going to do $2 a day, which is what I think we ran with $3 a day for a month, totaling like $100 or 200. Yeah, I think that our total budget is that. So if we do break it down to $14 a week at $2. And over on the right-hand side, Facebook tells you what your what your expected results are going to be. See over here? So with that budget, with this audience targeting, we can expect to reach 2,700 to 7,800 people per day, and anywhere between 33 to 106 link clicks. And where we're going to land in this is going to depend on how relevant our content is to our particular audience. Because Facebook assigns what's called a relevancy score from 1 to 10. So if you land at a 1, this is why I can compete with Walmart, right? With their multi-billion-dollar budget, because Walmart's is going to be far less relevant to my local marketplace, right? Because I'm a local realtor, you know? So when I'm pushing my content to my local sphere, I'm going to be highly relevant to them, which means for what it would cost for Walmart to buy that same ad space in the newsfeed, I can get it on pennies to the dollar in comparison to them, because my relevancy score is a 10 and theirs a 1. Right? So, okay, and then you'll notice, watch, it's going to change. So 268 to 785 per day, which over a month, if those are different people, that's a huge audience that you're reaching. And then you just build your creative. You know, you select your video. It's going to show you the examples over on the side as you're typing in your text. It'll show you where it's appearing, and you can actually preview that post and in the different mediums and how that post is going to look.
Show them, show them Arlo, Jonathan. Show
Okay.
them what that looks like.
You can choose your, first I'm just gonna show you, you can choose that there's multiple different call to actions, which is the button on the side. So I'll show you what we ended up with as our final product.
And some of you may not have seen this yet, but you will be, because it's going out this week to everyone.
Oh, that's not it. Why is that showing up? This is, I'm in the wrong, sorry guys, wrong business page. Here we go.
The legendary and iconic Arlo Guthrie is coming to Connecticut. Guthrie's epic 50th anniversary Alice's Restaurant Tour will be live at Connecticut's Milford Performance Center Friday, November 20th.
So as you're scrolling through your newsfeed, this is what's going to pop up. It'll automatically start playing. If you don't want to use a YouTube link and post it to Facebook, Google is Facebook's largest competitor. So they do things to trip up the performance of those ads. So if you're scrolling through your newsfeed and it's from Google, it's not going to automatically play. So your users are most likely going to continue scrolling. Where if it's native content that you uploaded to Facebook, as you're scrolling through, it'll automatically play. And then it's pretty self-explanatory on how these things work, you know. So here's the text at the top, right here. Then don't miss this one, you know, the headline text, which is located over here. And, you know, your call to action button, which you have multiple to choose from. Oh, it got shared 5 times. We went up, yay. And then where you want to drive the traffic to. I don't, like I was saying about the content ecosystem, right? If you're going to go outside of that content ecosystem, you should get paid. So if we put over here, Everbright, now we're marketing Everbright. So instead of showing, they're not paying us for that. So we shouldn't be marketing them. We should be marketing our URL, even though that's not where it's taking them. All right. So I'm going to close this out and go back to our slide. Oh, I wanted to show you our audiences and kind of show you. So everything happens at the hamburger. So your ads manager, and then you have your little hamburger here, and goes into your asset library, and audiences is where the magic happens. So this is where I build all my custom audiences. So if I've got my Facebook pixel code on my website, this is how I would create the audience from that web traffic is within here, right? So if I create a custom audience, there's multiple ways that you can do it based off of your website traffic, your customer lists. These are all for developers, or if you had apps like cell phone apps based off of video. This is huge. So I can say, I want to target all the people that have viewed at least 3 seconds of my videos, 50%, 25%, 95%. So if you start thinking about levels of intent, right? How interested is this person in your brand and what you're trying to sell? How interested is this person? Right? Kind of increases as they go along. Somebody actually sat through your 45-minute speech about social media, right? They're pretty interested in that. And then you can say within what days. So if you're constantly posting video, I can say, you know what? I want only the people that are really hot, that have been seeing my content in the last 2 weeks, and I want to target the people that have seen 50% of my video, and we're going to name these the hot people. And I can then create that audience. Oh, and you have to choose the video. You can actually even get as granular as choosing which videos you want to do. So I could say, all right, I want 50% of the videos. I can now choose those videos. And if we had more than one video, I could then post them there. So say you did the Thanksgiving drive or your duck races. So we could go all the way back to last year, click on the duck races and all the videos leading up to it, after it, during it, and then we can target all of the people that were engaging with that content for this year's duck race. So like the customization, the relevancy, you know, the targeting capabilities of this to then increase your conversion rates is, I mean, why would you ever advertise on television and radio? You don't get the data, you don't get the targeting. It's like the difference between using an atom bomb and a sniper rifle, you know? They both get the job done, but one's a surgeon's tool and the other one's for making a mess. All right. Create an ads campaign, ads manager, set up ads campaign, design your creative ads and ads manager, build your budget, and launch the campaign. Track your results. So we can go back in and I can then show you how we've been performing. This is really deep, in-depth analytics, but we're just going to do a little overview for right now. Go to the ads manager. Make sure we're on the right business page. And then you can see here our results. So far we've spent $23. We've got 28 people clicking through to the landing page for 84 cents per click. We've reached 410 unique individuals, and they've seen our advertisement 1,200 times with a frequency of, where is our frequency? Oh, where's our frequency? Sorry, I'm just going to adjust the view. Everything in here is customizable. I'm just not seeing frequency. So frequency is the number of time each, here we go, it's unclicked. So frequency is the number of time each unique individual has seen our ads. So reach is the number of people we reached. Impressions is the number of times that ad's been delivered. Divide the two, you end up with the frequency that each one person has seen that ad. 3.5% is a little high for each one person. So today we increased the audience size by adding those lookalike audiences. Before we were just pushing it to our district. So that's why the frequency is so high. So now we've increased the size of the audience to spread out that frequency to increase the number of people that we're reaching.
Jonathan, this is fantastic. We're running out of time. So how would you, I think we've answered a lot of questions on the questions list, and those of you have come up with questions that we're going to follow up on. We will definitely do that. But Jonathan, how would you summarize in your mind an overview of what we went through this evening?
Don't allow this to intimidate you. I mean, even if the only things that you do is start posting video, create a business page, and start collecting information, those are your assets. Those are your digital assets. Even if you don't know what to do with them, eventually someone is going to come along that does. And having that collection and information in place is massive, because otherwise you've got to, that's the work, is collecting and building that. Running the ads is a matter of watching a 15-minute YouTube channel and then just tracking your results, tweaking and adjusting. You know, everything is searchable online, everything is documented. Any questions that you have, there's a hotline to call. You know, just do not allow this to intimidate you. I can't underemphasize the power of these platforms. I wish I had a philanthropic example, but I can tell you in my own business, it's been like throwing gasoline on a fire. So, I mean, you just think about, we're all going to get spammed. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So it's less abrasive if that information we can actually use and we're actually interested in. And this is taking the consumer into consideration, and we're respecting that. That's what this is.
I love that about what you just said. That it's all about staying close to the relationship. And you know, people are afraid to ask. Some people are afraid to ask people for money in a philanthropy environment. If you think about the idea that you're talking to people who already have a connection to you, so that's right on.
It's warming up those conversations, just making it a little bit easier to have them. And because I'm Mr. Digital, right? But I want you to know I still cold call. I still go on coffee appointments. I still door knock. You know, the analog gets it done. People want face-to-face, voice-to-voice. This is automating and augmenting that to scale it up and do it on a massive level for a lower cost and increasing that conversion rate.
Jonathan,
And think about, if you will, when you get your mail every day, you take it out of your mailbox and you go through that mail and you stand over the pail and you have those 5x7 cards and you just throw them in there. You don't even look at them. And the same with solicitations. You know what they are. They go right in the pail. Doesn't mean you don't like the United Way, doesn't mean you don't like the Cancer Society, but it goes in the pail. If you are able to click on something and see it in 8-10 seconds, they won't put you in the pail. And we will stay in front of their minds over and over and over again. And it costs a fraction of what it costs to do a mass mailing.
and from my vantage point, it's all about recency and frequency, which speaks to everything that you've been saying, Trish, and you've been saying, Jonathan. And I just want to close by saying thank you, Jonathan, for this very, very interesting and powerful dialogue around digital technology and retargeting. And I hope that everyone on the call got value out of this. Let me let you all know what's happening next. First of all, are there any questions that we haven't answered? I've been typing responses to the questions that we haven't talked outright, but is there any pressing question out there? All right. So Jonathan and I are going, the entire marketing committee, we're going to be sending a survey out to you in the next 24 hours. We're very interested in your reaction to tonight. We're very interested in your evaluating for us, because we're always interested in learning and doing better each time we do something. So please do respond. I'm going to send it to everyone who registered for the event. So hopefully everyone here registered. And if you didn't, you can still go online and register, and we'll send you the form, or you can call me. We're all in DACDB. Call Jonathan, call me, let us know, and we'll make sure we get you the survey. It's going to be in SurveyMonkey, and you just have to digitally respond, and we'll get the results. The next webinar is best practices in content delivery. Andy Marlatt is going to be leading the fray along with Kyle, Robert DeJoya, and others in our marketing communications team. And it's a real important sidebar to the one we've just had. It is October 21, which is a Monday evening at 6 p.m. We're trying to keep these things to an hour, but we never know, so we've gone a little over this time. So my thanks to all of you for sticking with us. We are going to be posting this online via Ron Webb. He's going to help us post it online, and please come back and take a look at this and let your clubs know. Every club member should take an hour, or you can throw a party and throw this on the screen and have everyone watch it, then have a conversation afterward. And if you want to invite Jonathan or me or Andy or Kyle or any of us, Trish, to the meeting with you while you watch it, let's do it, because this is all about thinking about finding new ways to connect to our communities.
This could make a great program at your club, and we can cut it down. It doesn't have to ask an hour. You know, the presenters are usually 20 minutes. We can make this a 20-minute presentation to start with, so they can get an idea and get someone engaged and being involved, especially if you don't have anybody in your club who has taken ownership of this. It might spark the interest of somebody that you really didn't know had this interest or ability. We'll come and do the presentations. Absolutely. And with that, thank you all for attending. Happy September 30th. October 1 is tomorrow. And have a great next 3 weeks. I urge you all to sign up. It's live right now. You can register tonight for October 21, and the last one, which is the communications planning session, which is November 11th. Please register and keep this dialogue moving in your clubs. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.